It's been said the Mississippi is the trunk of the American tree, with branches reaching to the Rockies, the Alleghenies, and Canada. Along its beguiling shores, the hand of man and the power of nature have combined to create an unending series of profound landscapes. Legendary towns and thriving cities cling to the banks of this 2,300-mile waterway, each with its own history and mesmerizing stories to tell. Exploring these lands by river offers an unparalleled look into the fabric of America, a gateway to insight and discoveries. This is Viking's Mississippi. These are voyages for the thinking person, those who long to learn and to understand more about the places they're sailing through. 4 remarkable itineraries, 8 to 15 days, each one delving into the cultures and treasures along this intriguing river. This is the Viking way, destination-focused, enriching experiences, designed for curious travelers. On the upper Mississippi, Viking shares America's heartland, sampling a taste of local life on her farms and amid the vibrant cities that flourish along these shores. With Viking's privileged access, we step inside the working world of industrial titans. Then set off for the wilderness, where vast, verdant forests are topped only by the opportunity for up-close encounters with the majestic bald eagle. Norwegian culture is also on display, along with the music that flourished along these waters. A look into the life of author Mark Twain reveals the inspirations for his characters, Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. And the work of renowned architect Frank Lloyd Wright is examined in his former home, Taliesin, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. On the lower Mississippi, Viking sails through the heart of the South and its mesmerizing, incredibly diverse cultures, exploring the unique ways of life that fostered the creation of much of America's most iconic music. From inspirational gospel to Graceland and the king of rock, Elvis. And then there are the bayous, mythical, marshy backwaters, where French, Spanish, and Caribbean immigrants carved out a life. This unusual mix of cultures and environment led to something extraordinary: Cajun and Creole cuisine. While these tasty dishes are proudly served throughout the region, no city can match New Orleans, its delectable flavors and interpretations. Beyond the Big Easy, scrumptious cuisine is found up and down the Mississippi. And Viking shares the spots where the locals go. Beyond canopies of towering oak, history is explored at opulent estates. The dreams of wealthy sugar barons made real in the 19th century. With Vikings' privileged access, an in-depth look at the remarkable rise and crashing fall of these lavish properties provides a thoughtful perspective on the lives of all those who lived and worked here. Vicksburg National Military Park offers vivid insights into the enormous sacrifices that were made as both sides strove to shape the destiny of the nation during the Civil War. While the National World War II Museum delivers a powerful reminder of the effort required to defeat the Nazis, and a better understanding of those who paid the ultimate price during the struggles of war. Viking's fascinating exploration of the Mississippi can be enhanced with optional extensions, including a one-night city stay, or a 2-night escorted stay with daily guided excursions. And there are 2- and 3-night premium immersions. Thoughtful, guided, comprehensive experiences that reveal even more about life along the river. Our ship for these remarkable adventures is the elegant, purpose-built Viking, Mississippi. Inside, just 386 guests will find panoramic views at every turn, and welcoming, serene Scandinavian interiors throughout. Plus, they'll experience all the comfort and elegance of our award-winning ocean and river fleets, including many of the beloved existing spaces so unique to Viking. An exploration of the mighty Mississippi with Viking is a journey that really shouldn't be missed. With 8- and 15-day voyages, comprehensive, authentic programs on board and on shore, and Viking's privileged access, there's never been a more immersive way to experience the heart of America. Delve deep into one of America's most storied regions on an unforgettable 8-day voyage through the heart of the South, the Mississippi Delta. Your intriguing journey begins in the Big Easy, New Orleans, Louisiana. Explore its vibrant centerpiece, the French Quarter, where you might catch some live Dixieland jazz, or sample rich chicory coffee and pillowy fried beignets on Bourbon Street. A new day brings new adventures along Old Man River. The chance to visit historic homes and expansive estates. Or you can immerse yourself in Louisiana's mythical Cajun swamps. The state's capital, Baton Rouge, wears its heritage proudly. Here you will sample delicious Cajun specialties and learn about the history and character of the locals, who call this culturally rich city home. Immerse yourself in a diversity of architecture, renowned landmarks like the USS Kidd destroyer, and Louisiana State University. In towns like Louisiana's St. Francisville and Natchez across the state line in Mississippi, you can enjoy more of the South's fabled hospitality and opulent lifestyle. The legendary Myrtles Estate, built in the Creole cottage style, inspires with its diversity of architectural principles. Hear echoes of the Civil War in Vicksburg. You'll gain new insights on the city's role in this critical conflict at Vicksburg's National Military Park. An immersive, behind-the-scenes experience will highlight your day with Southern culture and history. After a full day of scenic sailing through this remarkable section of the mighty Mississippi, your memorable Viking journey concludes in Tennessee's lively music capital, Memphis. Join Viking for 8 intriguing days along Old Man River, the mighty Mississippi, immersing yourself in its storied cities, majestic architecture, and tasty cuisine. In New Orleans, Louisiana, the festive French Quarter beckons, inviting you to sample impromptu jazz performances or to stop and sample beignets at one of the area's iconic coffee houses. As you travel north along the vast Mississippi, you'll explore traditional estates that long ago were powerful players in the region's cotton and sugar-producing past. You'll also have the opportunity to take in a powerful gospel performance that will delight and inspire. In St. Francisville, Southern gardens and rich traditions add to your in-depth understanding of this distinctive region. The legendary Myrtles estate, built in the Creole cottage style, impresses with its diversity of architectural principles. Mississippi's Natchez practically defines the South, with over 500 vintage historic homes and buildings. Storied Vicksburg was the site of a pivotal Civil War battle. Often called the key to the South, history comes to life on the grounds of Vicksburg's National Military Park. An immersive behind-the-scenes experience will highlight your day with Southern culture and history. In charming Baton Rouge, immerse yourself in Cajun culture. Meet the people, enjoy their stories, taste their distinctive cuisine, and tap your feet to the infectious music. Your Viking journey concludes back in the Big Easy, spectacular New Orleans, where those who've long called it home love to say, laissez le bon temps rouler, let the good times roll. Join Viking during the holidays for an unforgettable 8-day immersion into the heart of the South that includes 2 days in Memphis and Viking privileged access at Elvis Presley's legendary home, Graceland. Your festive journey begins in the Big Easy, New Orleans, Louisiana. Explore its vibrant centerpiece, the French Quarter, where you might catch some live Dixieland jazz, or sample rich chicory coffee and pillowy fried beignets on Bourbon Street. New days bring new adventures along Old Man River. The chance to visit historic homes and expansive estates, and to venture deep into Louisiana's mythical Cajun swamps. Baton Rouge, the state capital, wears its heritage proudly. Here you'll be invited to share delicious Cajun specialties. Then learn about the history and character of those who call this culturally rich city home. Or set your sights on renowned landmarks like the USS Kidd destroyer and Louisiana State University. In Natchez, Mississippi, indulge in more of the South's fabled hospitality and view the region's once opulent lifestyle at the legendary Myrtles estate. Built in the Creole cottage style, it inspires with its diversity of architectural principles. Echoes of the Civil War greet you at Vicksburg National Military Park, where local experts provide engaging, behind-the-scenes insights on Vicksburg's role in this critical conflict. After a full day of scenic sailing through this remarkable section of the mighty Mississippi, you'll have 2 days in Memphis, Tennessee's lively music capital. And with Viking's privileged access, you'll enjoy the Christmas season at Graceland in a way most never will. It's a memorable experience that includes an exploration of the estate, along with the opportunity to take in the impressive Presley Motors Automobile Museum. And Elvis, the Entertainer Career Museum, the largest and most comprehensive Elvis museum in the world. It's an ideal way to conclude your holiday journey with Viking. Grandad Bluff. Activities abound with the opportunities of biking, fishing, or kayaking. Then it's on to Red Wing, Minnesota, where you can venture out into the National Eagle Center to enjoy an up-close encounter with bald eagles, America's national symbol. Your grand Mississippi journey concludes in St. Paul, known for its great museums, iconic cathedral, and beautiful period architecture.
Hello, I'm Jackie Skelton. I'm your licensed professional travel consultant, and I'm here today to explain to you that if you book your travel yourself, you could be cheating yourself out of getting the best price and even possible benefits and perks. I guarantee you that if you happen to find a legitimate lower price, I will match it. Just be careful, as no one can sell under the supplier's advertised price, not even the supplier. So going direct will not actually help you. Call me for any of your next travel needs to work together and I'll prove it to you. Call JR World Travel, ask for Jackie, and that number is 844-249-0190.
Person's first time to come to Milwaukee, and they may only have 3 to 6 hours to be able to explore the city.
Teresa Nemitz says in the next few years, she's going to be bringing a lot more people to Milwaukee after the company, Viking Cruises, announced plans to build 2 new ships, one of which is coming to the Great Lakes.
We know that the Viking passengers in particular really want to be able to get out and experience the city uniquely.
Viking's expedition ships, which will travel part of the year in Antarctica, will spend summers right here.
Viking has chosen Milwaukee to be the starting or ending point of all its Great Lakes cruises.
Last year, there were about 3,400 passengers that came through on nearly a dozen ships.
We have another huge advantage here. Viking spends enormous amounts of money on marketing, and they market destinations. So people throughout the United States, across the world, will see the best side of Milwaukee.
Tourism officials say they've identified 40 different attractions, including Chicago, to take visitors.
We've been working with Viking Cruises for a bit of time now, planning different shore excursions for their passengers, and we're just thrilled about it.
From cheese to the lake to much more.
Expedition ships, the Polaris and the Octantis. It'll be the Octantis that'll be cruising with us. Our initial offerings for the Great Lakes, these will be sailing in 2022. So in 2022, the first sailings will begin in April, and we'll have sailings all throughout the summer and into the early fall, and be leaving the region in the October timeframe of 2022. So these expedition vessels are built specifically to sail the polar regions, but being very forward-thinking in our design of the vessels, Viking thought about where can we take these vessels when we're not utilizing them in the Arctic or the Antarctic. And an obvious destination that is under-cruised at the moment, we are going to be adding these wonderful ships to cruise this area, is the Great Lakes. And you can see in this artist rendering of the vessel how it's designed from the very beginning to fit through the Welland Canal locks, which are just west of Niagara Falls, to sail into the Great Lakes region. The Great Lakes are full of natural beauty. It is the largest freshwater resource in the world. It is made up of 5 Great Lakes here, over 750 miles across from one end to the other. 10,000 miles of coastline dominate the Great Lakes area. So let's go through these first 4 itineraries. The first itinerary is our Canadian Discovery. This is New York City to Toronto. So this will be offered in mid-April of 2022, leaving from New York City and then sailing to Toronto, Canada. You can see the day by day here, and I'll show it to you on a map. We'll be visiting, you'll notice on each of these itineraries, we'll start in one country and end in the other. Canadian Discovery will only be offered twice. It will be offered in that spring time frame of 2022 when we're sailing into the Great Lakes region, and again in the fall. So at the beginning of October, we'll be sailing in reverse, starting in Toronto and ending in New York City. So just 2 opportunities to book this Canadian Discovery. And you'll see here we visit Halifax, and then Prince Edward Islands, down into the St. Lawrence River and to Quebec City, to Lake Ontario, and to Toronto. We do offer an overnight in Toronto, so you will have more time to see that beautiful city. Now, after we've arrived in Toronto, it'll be the last day of April, then we'll begin our sailings on 3 8-day itineraries. that will take place from Toronto through the Great Lakes. So let's show you the first of those. That is Niagara in the Great Lakes, and this will sail from Toronto to Milwaukee. We'll be on a rotation throughout May, June, July, August, and September of 2022, sailing these 3 8-day itineraries back to back to back. So Niagara and the Great Lakes will go from Toronto to Milwaukee, visiting a port of call each day of the cruise. You'll see highlights here: Point Pelee, Detroit, Alpena, Mackinac Island, Traverse City, and ending in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And here it is on a map. You can see going through Niagara Falls. I have some great slides to show you on some of these destinations, and we'll talk in more detail about some of the places we'll be visiting on these 3 itineraries in just a moment. The Great Lakes Explorer will be the next 8-day. This will run Milwaukee to Thunder Bay. Starting in Milwaukee there, visiting Mackinac Island, then 3 days in the Georgian Bay area of Canada, and then a scenic cruising day through the Soo Locks and to Thunder Bay, Ontario, where we'll overnight. And here you see it on a map. The 3 areas of Georgian Bay that we'll be visiting are Little Current, Killarney, and Parry Sound. And then that overnight at Thunder Bay will give you more time to explore that beautiful city there, town on Lake Superior. And the final of the 3 8-day itineraries is Undiscovered Great Lakes. This will take you from Thunder Bay to Milwaukee, and we do have an overnight there in Thunder Bay, then to Duluth, Minnesota, Apostle Islands, Wisconsin, Houghton, Michigan, a scenic cruising day through the Soo Locks, to Mackinac Island, and to Milwaukee. This image that you see here, lots of people ask, where is that? That is just a beautiful, gorgeous lake cave. I almost said sea cave. This is on in the Apostle Islands in Wisconsin there. And here it is on a map, and the areas that you'll visit on the 3 8-day itineraries. So again, these 3 8-day itineraries will be operating throughout the late spring, summer, and into early fall of 2022. We have availability on these now, so please reach out to your preferred travel professional to get some pricing. And if you have any more questions about details and sites that you'll see along the way, make sure to reach out to them to cover that. So let's go through a few slides of the destinations itself, and we'll give you a little bit. This is a beautiful area, the entire Great Lakes region. In fact, all the cities that we'll be visiting on this itinerary, just some beautiful outdoor activities. A highlight on all 3 of the 8 days is Mackinac Island. So you'll be visiting Mackinac Island in Michigan. Since 1930, no cars have been allowed on Mackinac Island. So this carefree island is, most guests are taking advantage of the sites by walking, doing some light hiking, maybe bicycling, or even horse-drawn carriages. It is beautiful along the seashore here. Some of the sites that you'll want to take advantage of visiting while you're here in Mackinac Island is Fort Mackinac, which dates back to the American Revolutionary War. It was also the site of 2 battles of the War of 1812. You may want to visit the Grand Hotel, which opened in 1887 and boasts the largest porch in the world with outstanding views of the Straits of Mackinac. Now, Georgian Bay, remember a little Killarney, Parry Sound, Little Current, those are the 3 towns that we'll be visiting in the Georgian Bay area on our itinerary, the Great Lakes Explorer that goes from Milwaukee to Thunder Bay. This greater area has 30,000 islands, and it is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. There are majestic pines that dot the lake and the shoreline here of all of these islands. Abundant hiking, opportunity to bike, do kayaking, to visit Killarney Provincial Park. There are local lighthouses in this area because of all the islands to keep shipping safe. So some gorgeous views that you'll experience when sailing through the Georgian Bay area there. Now, Thunder Bay. Thunder Bay is in Ontario, a beautiful boreal forest. There's wildlife, including moose in the area. You'll learn about First Nations heritage. The Anishinaabe tribe is the specific tribe that inhabited this area. You'll visit Fort Williams Historical Park, which is a living history attraction that's devoted to recreating the days of the fur trade in this area from the 1700s, 1800s, that time frame. The local Thunder Bay Museum offers exhibits on the early years of the city and of all of Northwest Ontario. We visit this town on the Great Lakes Explorer itinerary and the Undiscovered Great Lakes. Each of those itineraries feature an overnight in Thunder Bay, so you do have more time to explore here. Duluth, Minnesota. So here you may want to choose to ride a vintage train on the North Shore Scenic Railroad, or stroll the downtown waterfront, or browse the Great Lakes Aquarium, which you see pictured in this image. You could also choose to visit the Glen Sheen Historic Estate. It's a 20,000 square foot mansion that sits on 12 acres with 39 rooms overlooking the lake there in Duluth. Apostle Islands, those are those sea caves again, or lake caves we should call them. So they're bogs, wetlands throughout this 22 island archipelago. There are opportunities for hiking, kayaking, even some bird watching, including bald eagles. Bald eagles frequently nest in this area, so there's some great bird watching in the Apostle Islands region of Wisconsin. Now to Houghton, Michigan. So you'll learn about the region's copper mining, admire scenic old growth forests and marshlands. Look at this beautiful waterfall. So again, ample opportunity for hiking and outdoor experiences on all of these destinations that we'll be visiting along the Great Lakes. And Niagara Falls, we'll be visiting Niagara Falls on that Niagara and the Great Lakes. The itinerary that runs between Toronto and Milwaukee gives you a chance to view the Horseshoe Falls close up. They are the largest and most powerful falls there. That's what you see here on this image. We'll be transitioning from Lake Ontario to Niagara Falls by way of the Welland Canal, which is just a few miles west of the falls themselves. Now, Point Pelee, Ontario is the home of a national park, a Canadian national park, and features hundreds of species of birds and wildlife and butterflies. It is a beautiful outdoor region that you're going to enjoy exploring there on that same Niagara and the Great Lakes itinerary. In Detroit, Michigan will be a stop on that Niagara and the Great Lakes, an opportunity to visit the Henry Ford Museum, and where you'll be able to see John F. Kennedy's limousine as well as Edison's lab. You can actually see several presidential limousines here in this image. So really unique museum to hear all about the Ford family and their heritage and automobile making that dominates Detroit. It is the Motor City, right? So now we'll head to a couple of the destinations that are on the Canadian Discovery itinerary. That's the 13-day that will be running in April of 2022 and again in October of 22, taking guests from Toronto to New York City or New York City to Toronto. This is Peggy's Cove that you see here just outside of Halifax. You'll have an opportunity to hike Peggy's Cove or kayak and explore history and wilderness of McNabb's Island. There is some amazing seafood and lobster right there at a wonderful little restaurant at Peggy's Cove. So you get an opportunity to visit Peggy's Cove, I highly recommend the lobster there. It is absolutely amazing. And then here we see just outside of Quebec City, there'll be opportunities here to hike Mont Sainte-Anne or Cap Tourmente National Wildlife Area. And this is kayaking in the scenic Isle d'Orléans outside of Quebec City. And then our final destination that we'll talk about a little bit about, this is visited on two of the itineraries, that Canadian Discovery that goes from Toronto to New York, or from Niagara and the Great Lakes, which goes from Toronto to Milwaukee, is the city of Toronto. It is a gorgeous city. It is one of the largest cities in North America. Have an opportunity to stroll St. Lawrence Market. There's an eclectic art scene. You could even kayak on Lake Ontario or visit CN Tower, which goes over 1,000 feet into the air there. It is a beautiful destination. Great theater in this city too. First run plays that visit here from London. Great opportunity to visit Toronto, Canada on these itineraries. Well, now let's tell you about the ships. So we've taken about 15 minutes to tell you about the destination. Really, those four exciting destinations for 2022 with beautiful scenery. It's going to be a lovely time of year to travel in spring, summer, and early fall in this area. So let's talk about the ships. So the Viking Octantis is the ship that will be sailing the first year of operation here. It's 2022. We have some of the best dining choices at sea, all available at no additional charge on the Viking Octantis. We'll cover through these as show you some images of the public areas of the ship, as well as some staterooms as we go through this tour. Here are all the locations: the restaurant, which is our main restaurant, Manfredi's, a specialty Italian restaurant, the World Cafe, Momsen's Norwegian Deli, the Aquavit Bar, and 24-hour options are available too. To go through the included values of these new vessels, let's talk about everything that comes with your Great Lakes itinerary. There's going to be one short excursion in every port. All your onboard meals are included. There's multiple dining venues on board the Viking Octantis. Wine, beer, soft drinks are included during lunch and dinner. Specialty coffees and teas available 24-hour, bottled water replenished daily right in your cabin. Complimentary Wi-Fi so you can remain connected during your cruise. All port charges and government taxes are included too. If you have any detailed questions about any of the inclusions, make sure to cover those with your preferred travel advisor, your favorite travel advisor. Reach out to them and ask them a detailed question about the ships. So this is the Viking Octantis. Again, I mentioned very early on in here the presentation today that these were built specifically to sail the Arctic and the Antarctic region, the polar cap. So in some of these artist renderings, you will see that as the backdrop, but we'll be cruising the Great Lakes in Canada during the spring, summer, and fall. 386 passengers on these gorgeous state-of-the-art vessels that are being built in Norway. So you see how lovely and streamlined it is. Beautiful, beautiful ship. So let's give you a tour of the public areas on board. We use Scandinavian design elements, so it is a very relaxing, a comfortable way to cruise. Remember our tagline, exploring the world in comfort. You can see how relaxed our decor will just put you in that state of mood, like you feel like you're at home. It is a very relaxed atmosphere. This is our main atrium. Our guest service desk will be here. They can help you throughout the cruise for any needs that you need. If you want to add any last minute optional excursions or even just get advice on what to see in each port of call, our guest service staff will be able to do that. They'll have maps of every town that we stop into if you want to do some self-exploration. We will head then to our aula. The aula is a beautiful section of these expedition vessels. So it's a cinema room with floor-to-ceiling windows, 270-degree views of the landscape. So I'm going to transition to an area just beyond this. So we'll have lectures that take place here, films on the region that we're traveling through. We'll have perhaps musical performances from the towns that we're stopped in that may take place here, all in the aula. So let's then move just outside the aula is an area called the Finsa Terrace. And now we're looking into the aula. So you see here that the screen that we saw in the previous image has been raised to the ceiling. We have curtains that have been raised as well so that now there are no blackout conditions there in the cinema, and you can look out and see the spectacular landscape of the Great Lakes region that you're traveling through. Obviously, in this artist rendering, we're in the polar caps, but this will also be utilized on our Great Lakes in Canada itineraries. And outside of the aula is the Finsa Terrace, just a lovely area to relax with 270-degree views here of the area that you'll be traveling through. The Explorer's Lounge is at the very front of the ship. So if you've traveled with us on our Viking Ocean vessels before, this is going to feel very similar. I was very pleased when I saw that the Explorer's Lounge was being brought to our Viking Expedition class of ships, because it's my favorite part of the ocean vessels. I love to sit in the Explorer's Lounge. It has 2 levels, and you see that here. There are floor-to-ceiling windows, a relaxing spot to talk over your day with new friends that you may have met, or if you're traveling with friends as a part of multiple multiple couples that are traveling together. You can gather here, have a pleasant beverage, and talk about your day and just take in the beautiful views as you're sailing along the Great Lakes. Our living room space is a very relaxing spot, yet another venue where you can relax and enjoy perhaps some classical music or a soothing piano sonata. It's Nordic furnishings. There is a library here where you'll be able to take advantage of and read any books that you'd like during your voyage. Just floor-to-ceiling windows on the sides of the living room area too, so a relaxing spot indoors. There's also lots of outdoor seating too, and you can see that in this artist rendering. You can see some of the deck chairs there on the outside of the vessel. And that takes us to our Aquavit Terrace, which is on our top deck, and is a place to just settle in and enjoy our Aquavit bar. The design element here is to invoke a feeling of trees. And the Norse mythology, which of course we have the name Viking, so we really take in that Norse feel throughout our heritage and experiences on board. Trees are very important to the Northmen, to the Vikings, and you'll see that here in the Aquavit Terrace, which actually features a pool area. These windows and doors can be open to create an open air space or closed in if it's inclement weather. You do see in this artist rendering that we are in the Great Lakes, so you can have a feel for how beautiful that pine forested tree line is going to be throughout your cruise along the Great Lakes region. And now we've transitioned to outside of that Aquavit Terrace space to the pool deck, which again, we can make this more open air, open those windows and doors. There are a trio of pools here, each at a different temperature. There's an indoor-outdoor pass-through swimming experience in the main longer pool there. Will be a calming spot to relax during any weather, and we have a retractable roof for year-round use over the Aquavit Terrace space. Down on deck 2, we have our Nordic spa on board the Viking, Octantis, and Polaris. You'll be able to take in scenery when you're relaxing in the spa. See the floor-to-ceiling windows over to the left. You may choose to work out in a fitness center. There's a choice of treadmills, ellipticals, stationary bikes, or weight machines. All are complimentary with your stay. The use of the Nordic spa thermal suite here is all complimentary too. We even have a sauna and a snow grotto with snow on demand that you can experience there in the Nordic spa. I showed you the slide earlier that talked about the dining locations on board, so we'll go through those and review them here. The main restaurant is going to be our elegant dining venue with breakfast, lunch, and dinner served here. Our always available onboard dining experience here in this space with regional cuisine from areas that we're traveling through along the Great Lakes. Is always available classics too. Beautiful floor-to-ceiling windows on either side of the dining room too, so you'll have gorgeous views while you're dining. Manfredi's was taken also the inspiration from our ocean vessels, where we have Manfredi's specialty restaurant on board those 930 passenger ocean vessels. So we'll have Manfredi's here on our 386 passenger Viking Octantis. This is going to be inspired by your Italian favorites. So an Italian trattoria feel here. We have great private dining, fresh pasta made here daily, as well as amazing Tuscan steaks. It will be a great place for some specialty dining, all included, no additional charge to dine at Manfredi's. The World Cafe is going to feature live cooking, an open kitchen type concept. You'll be served by our chefs in this space, premium seafoods, sushi choices, and grill. It provides international flavors throughout the day here. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, a casual spot to grab a bite to eat, from gelato and more, all here in the World Cafe. And then Momsen's, named after the Hagen family matriarch. Our owners are the Hagens, but Momsen was our owner's mother. And we feature some of her own recipes in Momsen's, open-faced sandwiches, split pea soup here, as well as some famous Norwegian waffles in the morning for breakfast. Really a great spot to grab a casual bite to eat too at Momsen's. Now these are exhibition vessels, so we'll be utilizing the special features that are built into the ship, even when we're sailing in the Great Lakes region. Again, remember, all of these items here originally built to use in the Arctic regions, but we will be using them on the Great Lakes too, including our submersible. So we have ribs, Zodiac vessels, kayaks on board, and 2 submersibles. So let's give you a little view of what this hangar space looks like. The hangar features a bay that opens at the rear of the ship, so our RIBs, our ribs, can exit the vessel there. Our Zodiacs will exit from the side, and our submarines will exit from the side. There's a lab space overlooking the hangar area. We will have some scientists who will be traveling with us even through the Great Lakes region. We will be partnering with ornithology group there's so many birds in this region. There'll be some research that's ongoing while we're traveling through the area. Here is all of the expedition equipment that's available on board the Viking, Octantis, and Polaris. So our Zodiacs, you can see our 2-seater kayaks, which actually feature a paddle as well as pedals, so you can propel yourself in either direction. That'll leave your hands free for binoculars or to take photos while you're utilizing the kayaks. 2 6-seater submarines and the 2 12-seater convertible ribs. We will be utilizing all of these elements on our sailings in Canadian waters. So let's go through the staterooms now. This is the Nordic balcony stateroom. This has been built into the majority of the categories, which is really a unique way of moving the seating area towards the window of the cabin. So you'll notice that everything is directed towards the floor-to-ceiling windows here. The Nordic balcony, actually this window will lower to halfway, so you can turn your cabin into an open-air space and look out on demand. So, and many of these artist renderings, you're going to see the polar caps, but again, this is going to be absolutely gorgeous when sailing in the Great Lakes region, dominated by the beautiful scenery of the forests and cities lining the lakes there. So our Nordic balcony stateroom is 222 square feet. We've stepped back a little bit, and now you can see that Nordic balcony space and how the seating and everything is oriented towards the window, the Nordic balcony, which will lower to halfway to make your cabin open air. We have a really nicely designed bathroom on all of the staterooms here. This is the standard bathroom. When you look at this image, you may see this doesn't look like an artist rendering. That's because this is an actual image from our ocean vessels. We're copying the exact specifications for our bathrooms on our ocean vessels now to the Viking expedition ships, the Octantis and the Polaris. So really a well-designed bathroom that you'll enjoy. Our deluxe Nordic balcony stateroom is 222 square feet. And again, you see that everything is oriented towards that window. This gives you a step back so you can see the closet space, a stool there that you can utilize when getting dressed, also sitting room over by the Nordic balcony. And behind this door that you see is the bathroom. Our Nordic penthouse is 269 square feet, so 20% larger than the Nordic and deluxe Nordic staterooms. If you have any question about the staterooms, please make sure to discuss those with your travel professionals. And it is worth looking at upgrading. There are a list of amenities that come with each type of cabin, and you'll want to discuss maybe multiple options with your travel professional to discuss which is going to be the best for you. Our Nordic Junior Suite, even a little larger, 322 square feet. So you see a larger Nordic balcony, a little more openness, a larger window here that will again open to halfway. We do have an Explorer Suite on board. We also have our Owner Suite. So you see the Owner Suite featured here, has an outdoor deck here with a whirlpool tub here on the Owner Suite. So a full balcony on that Owner Suite at 1,206 square feet. Well, that gives you an overview of our expedition vessels that will be sailing in the Great Lakes region. Before we take question and answers, I want to go through some of the other options that we have available for these vessels and other Viking products. So Michael's going to begin gathering your questions. Feel free to type those in, and we'll answer a few of those in just a moment. But again, remember, you can always reach out to your preferred travel provider, your travel agent, to get questions answered as well. So the Viking, Polaris, and the Octantis, in addition to the Great Lakes and Canadian itineraries that we've discussed today, will also be doing the Antarctic and the Arctic. Those and the grand journeys will all take place in 2022. Now, we do have in green on this slide the Galapagos. So we have a 90-passenger vessel that'll be sailing the Galapagos beginning next year in 2021. And we do have 3 different itineraries that feature different land experiences once we're on the islands, once we're in the Galapagos. All 3 itineraries will also be visiting Machu Picchu and Peru. So 15-day and 13-day options on the Galapagos. So again, the Galapagos are 2021. The blue sailings that you see here, Antarctic, Great Lakes, and Grand Journeys, are all on the Viking, Octantis, and Polaris, and those will begin in 2022. We do have our 930-passenger small ocean ship vessels, which are going to be a great way to travel. We have 2021 and 2022 voyages available on these 6 beautiful ocean vessels. The 7th will be joining the fleet in 2021. And you see we have options all over Scandinavia, Northern Europe, and Mediterranean and the Adriatic. From 18 days all the way out to 29-day journeys are available in those regions. We do bring those ocean vessels closer to home too, so you'll find opportunities and options in the Americas and the Caribbean, as well as Panama Canal cruises. We'll be visiting Asia and Australia. We have ocean and river voyage combinations if you'd like to do one of our small river vessels and do our Rhine getaway or our Grand European tour, and then board one of the 930-passenger small ocean vessels to sail onward to Bergen. In our river vessels, we have 2021 and 2022 voyages available to book right now. We have from the Rhine getaway to the Elegant Elbe to Portugal, sailings throughout Europe, over 20 itineraries available on our river ships. So please discuss those with your favorite travel professional too. And then our final product that I'd like to discuss, also a new product just released earlier this year for sale that will be traveling in 2022 and 2023, is our Viking Mississippi, a brand new 396-passenger vessel that'll be sailing on America's Great River on 3 8-day itineraries and 1 15-day itinerary. All right. Well, thank you so much for attending, Michael. I'm going to kick it back to you and see if we have some questions.
Yes, we do, Barry. So our first question is specific to the excursions that we are offering right now. So is there an included excursion in each port of call?
That is correct. In each port of call on the Great Lakes and Canada itineraries, there will be an included excursion. There's also opportunity to do self-exploration if you'd like, or to book optional excursions that will be available through Viking as well.
Perfect. And then are typically the optional excursions later on in the afternoon, or are they in the morning? What is the typical time frame of those?
Well, there's usually multiple choices. So there will be optional excursions that are staggered throughout the day based on our time and port. And there may be opportunities to do even multiple excursions. There's typically one time slots in morning, afternoon, and evening. So when you have booked your cruise, your travel professional will be able to walk you through all the options. You'll have access to a website called My Viking Journey, where you'll be able to see all of the excursions that are offered and what time of day they are, and then you can choose multiple excursions if you'd like. One included, and then optional excursions that you can do as well.
G'day, Jackie Skelton here. Remember, experience counts when you choose a travel consultant. Ross and I have travelled the world learning how to travel safely and securely, believe it or not, with over 100 years combined. Remember to call me, ask for Jackie Skelton, JR World Travel on 844 249 0190.
You've planned and saved for your vacation, but sometimes things don't go according to plan. A medical emergency away from home can turn your dream vacation into a financial and emotional nightmare. But you can plan for the unexpected with comprehensive travel insurance. Travel insurance is designed to cover you from losses arising from sudden and unforeseeable circumstances while traveling, such as the need for medical treatment in another province or a foreign country, including the cost of hospital stays, doctor's fees, lab tests, and ambulance services. It will also provide you with support when it comes to dealing with unfamiliar medical terminology and doctors who may speak a language you don't understand. Plus, it can cover the cost of necessary emergency air transportation to either return you home for treatment or, if required, to receive medical treatment at the nearest appropriate medical facility. You may have travel insurance coverage for your workplace benefits plan, but be sure to check what is and isn't covered. You may want to top up your group coverage with additional travel insurance, as most group plans don't offer such non-medical coverage as trip cancellation, trip interruption, and protection for lost baggage and personal effects. Comprehensive travel insurance can cover you for a single trip or for an extended stay to protect you and your vacation investment, or individuals and families waiting to be eligible for provincial health insurance. Travel insurance provides you with the coverage you need so you can relax and enjoy a worry-free vacation.
Everybody, welcome. I am Jackie Skelton, your licensed professional travel consultant at JR World Travel. Remember, we do it all for you, from cruising, resorts, hotels, tours, car rentals and international air. Here at JR World Travel, you are a client first and then definitely a friend. Remember, call Jackie. We are your go-to for travel. 844 249 0190. Call today. Hello. I'm Jackie Skelton. I'm your licensed professional travel consultant, and I'm here today to explain to you that if you book your travel yourself, you could be cheating yourself out of getting the best price and even possible benefits and perks. I guarantee you that if you happen to find a legitimate lower price, I will match it. Just be careful, as no one can sell under the supplier's advertised price, not even the supplier. So going direct will not actually help you. Call me for any of your next travel needs to work together and I'll prove it to you. Call JR World Travel, ask for Jackie, and that number is 844 249 0190.